Sergeant Frank Miller, my training officer, put a comforting hand on my shoulder. "You did good today, kid," he said, his voice the gravelly, reassuring sound of a 30-year veteran. We had just concluded a major drug bust, one that Miller had miraculously cracked open with a last-second evidence discovery. He was a hero, a legend in the precinct, a man who could sniff out crime like a bloodhound, and I, his rookie, was his devoted protege. But as I looked at the bag of evidence he was holding, a cold, sickening feeling washed over me, because I knew with a certainty that chilled me to the bone that the bag hadn't been there a moment before he found it. If you have ever had your heroes fall, if you've ever discovered that the person you admire most is a complete fraud, then you know the loneliness of a truth no one else wants to believe. Welcome to Hearts in Uniform. This is the place where we believe that the uniform is only as honourable as the person wearing it. Show your support for every officer who upholds their oath by hitting that like button, and subscribe for more stories of justice from within the ranks. Now, let me tell you how I had to set a trap for my own mentor to save the very law he taught me to protect. My name is Kate Riley. 6 months out of the academy, I was living my dream. I was assigned to the city's toughest precinct, and better yet, I was partnered with Sergeant Frank Miller. Miller wasn't just a cop, he was an institution. He had a sixth sense for police work. He was tough but fair, and he had a reputation for closing impossible cases. He took me under his wing, treating me like the daughter he never had. Our captain, a by-the-book guy named Evans, loved him. My fellow officers, like the cynical veteran Detective Chen, respected him. I adored him. The first crack appeared during a raid on a known gang hideout. It was chaos. We secured the scene, but we were coming up empty on the main stash. Captain Evans was getting frustrated. Then Miller called out. "Over here!" he yelled. From behind a loose brick in the fireplace, he pulled out a brick of narcotics. It was an amazing find, a career-making bust. Everyone cheered, but I had been the one to clear that fireplace. I had checked every brick. It was clean. My mind chalked it up to rookie error. I must have missed it. 2 weeks later, another case. A dead-end burglary investigation. We were interviewing a suspect who was about to be released for lack of evidence. Miller asked to use the man's bathroom. He came out a minute later holding a small silver locket. "Look what I found in the trash," he said. It was the locket reported stolen from the victim's home. The case was closed. Another win for Sergeant Miller. But the suspect's wife had just cleaned that trash can. She swore it was empty. Again, I pushed the doubt away. It was a coincidence. He was just that good. The lie finally shattered during a routine traffic stop. We pulled over a guy for a broken taillight. Miller asked him to step out. While I was running the driver's license, Miller did a quick safety search of the driver's side. He came up with a small baggie of illegal pills under the floor mat. The driver was stunned. He swore they weren't his, and this time I knew he was telling the truth, because I had watched Miller's hands the entire time. I saw the subtle, practiced movement. The baggie didn't come from under the mat. It came from Miller's own pocket. My world tilted on its axis. My hero, the man I trusted with my life, was a dirty cop. He was planting evidence. The legendary busts, the impossible cases, They were all built on a foundation of lies. He wasn't a great cop. He was a great criminal. That night, I went home and couldn't sleep. What could I do? It was my word, a 6-month rookie against a 30-year decorated sergeant. Internal affairs would bury me. Captain Evans would never believe me. I felt utterly alone. But then I thought of the people he'd framed, the lives he'd ruined to make himself a hero. My fear was nothing compared to their injustice. My plan had to be perfect. I couldn't just accuse him. I had to catch him in the act with proof that no one could deny. I confided in one person. The precinct's evidence clerk, a quiet, older woman named Maria. She had seen everything over 40 years. When I told her my suspicions, she didn't look surprised. She just nodded slowly. "I always wondered about his perfect record," she whispered. She agreed to help. We chose our trap. A low-level informant was set to do a controlled buy. It was the perfect low-stakes environment. The day of the buy, I went to Maria. I checked out a standard-issue evidence bag for the buy money, but this bag was special. Maria had helped me modify it. Inside the seal, I had placed a tiny button-sized camera with a wide-angle lens. When the bag was held, it would record everything in front of it. The operation went down. The informant made the buy. We moved in for the arrest. The suspect had the marked money on him, but no additional product. It was a clean bust. As we were searching the suspect's vehicle, I saw Miller's familiar tell. He palmed a small baggie from his pocket. He turned to me. "Riley," he said, "hold the evidence bag open. Let's see what else our friend here has in his glove box." This was it. My heart was pounding. I held the evidence bag open as he instructed. My hands were shaking, but I held the bag steady, aiming the hidden lens right at his hands. He reached into the glove box and, with the same slick move I'd seen before, dropped his own planted evidence inside. "Well, well," he said, pulling it back out. "Looks like we found the motherlode." He turned to me, a proud fatherly smile on his face. "See, kid, you just gotta know where to look." I looked him dead in the eye. "I'm learning, Sergeant," I said, my voice ice cold. I carefully sealed the evidence bag, my camera safely inside. Back at the precinct, I didn't go to the evidence room. I walked straight into Captain Evans's office. Miller followed me, laughing. "Eager for a commendation, rookie?" he asked. I didn't answer. I closed the door behind us. "Captain," I said, "I have a problem with Sergeant Miller's evidence." Miller's smile vanished. Evans looked annoyed. "What is it, Riley?" I placed the evidence bag on his desk. I took a small USB cable from my pocket and plugged it into the bag's hidden port. I connected it to the captain's computer. "The evidence," I said, "recorded its own discovery." I hit play. The screen showed a clear, undeniable first-person view of Sergeant Miller's hands planting the drugs in the glove box. The room was dead silent. I watched as 30 years of lies crumbled to dust on my captain's computer screen. Miller's face was a mask of disbelief, then rage, then absolute pathetic defeat. Sergeant Miller was arrested that day. An internal investigation was launched that reopened dozens of his old cases, and a lot of innocent people were finally set free. The precinct was shaken, but it was a necessary cleansing. I wasn't the adoring rookie anymore. I was a police officer, the kind Frank Miller only ever pretended to be. Now I want to hear from you. We've all had a hero or a mentor we looked up to, someone we trusted completely. Have you ever had to face the heartbreaking moment when you realized your hero had a dark side? You don't need to share names, but I would be honored to read your story in the comments. Let's support each other. And if you're ready to stand for integrity, hit like and subscribe to become a part of Hearts in Uniform.